Mm.
It's a sit down, put your headphones on, speakers on, get a drink, and sit there for an hour and listen to it.
Some guests are serious, some are really funny. What are you waiting for? Come and get this honey. It's absolute bedlam, absolute bedlam, absolute bedlam. Join the hype, like and subscribe.
Hello and welcome to another special episode of Absolute Bedlam Podcast. I am your host Ben, and tonight on the show we have Jamie Parker from Jamie Parker Music. Full disclosure, I think we've probably met each other about 4 minutes, maybe.
That's about it, I think.
Um,
Yeah,
so if it feels a bit socially awkward, it's because A, we're on Zoom and it just is socially awkward. And B, we haven't properly met each other than when you actually recorded an episode of the podcast. So
that's right. Yeah,
let's get that out of the way. First door. First door is apparently a saying. Awesome. Right. So yeah, how are you, Jamie? How's your day been? You all right?
yeah, good, not bad. Busy
Mm.
day, but yeah, no, glad to be here. I'm looking forward to this.
Yeah. You've been messaging me because obviously we were meant to record last week. And
Yeah,
I can sense the energy. And sometimes, as someone that does this quite frequently, I've nearly hit 5 years of doing this now. It's nice to have someone else kind of breathe some sort of energy into it because sometimes it feels like you're kind of just going through the motions and you're just endlessly recording on a loop, you know.
yeah,
So
yeah,
yeah, you're going to carry this one, mate.
yeah.
Oh dear. So yeah, awesome. Right, so let's get started. First question I usually ask most guests is how did you find school life?
Um, Tricky, as I think most people do, as I think most musicians do, seems to be my
Mhm.
experience when talking to other sort of musicians that is, yeah, that it's. I think you kind of know early on what it is. Well, I knew early on what it was that I wanted to do, and I knew that it wasn't maths or art. Well, it wouldn't art to a certain extent, but I knew it was music. I always knew it was music from a very early age. So having to then sit through the stuff that you didn't want to do, knowing that that was my passion and that's what I wanted to do, is
Yeah.
never an easy time, to be honest.
Mm. Yeah. I don't know why we teach our kids to be good at like 9 things
Yeah,
when they're obviously like passionate about 2 things. It's really strange. I don't know if there's other education systems that like, oh my God, that kid loves photography. Let's just give him photography,
yeah. I understand the
Yeah.
basics. I know like we need English, maths. I mean, to be
Mm,
honest, and especially actually with music, you're writing lyrics. English and poetry works.
mm,
And I actually always enjoyed English and maths to a certain extent
yeah.
because um, music is numbers. Like it's
Yeah.
built on a mathematical system, so it kind of makes sense. So actually, for the music world, those
Mm,
kind of subjects made sense, and I understand why you need to do those. But yeah,
mm,
why I needed to do design technology and try and I don't know build something, and just why I needed to know about rock formations. It's never
yeah.
gonna
Yeah. Yeah.
from what my passion was and what I knew I wanted to do, just
Yeah.
didn't interest me at all.
Yeah. Geography and geology were just so like, if I want to learn about the world, I'll just go there.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
yeah, I don't know. It's weird. It's a weird world, but I feel like towards the end of school, I at least found like some options that were viable, like computers and
yeah,
going straight into an apprenticeship and sort of not wasting any time and stuff like that. But yeah, you are kind of overexposed to a lot of options. Um, and I ended up sort of I went through a proper mental gap where I was like, I need like a careers advisor.
yeah,
And they were like, right, what's your fears? And I was like, that's a bit of a weird question. I was like, oh, I'm scared of heights. And they're like, oh, that's a shame because there's like loads of really well paid sort of pilots around Dorset. And I was like, I literally can't think of anything I would rather do less.
yeah.
And then I got an eye test and I was actually told that I could actually become a pilot because I've got perfect vision. And I was like, oh, well, that's nice. I might donate them to someone else when I pass away because I ain't getting in a plane. Like, awesome. Can you remember the naughtiest thing either you or someone else did at school?
I don't, because when you asked me sort of this one, I was like, I don't, because you had sent me a couple of the
Yeah.
questions, but this one I was like, I don't really remember anything particularly naughty. Like, I don't think I was. I mean, I was normal sort of naughty, so like got chucked out of the classes all the time and messed around and pissed the teachers off.
Yeah.
But I don't actually ever remember sort of anything substantial naughty that I did, or anyone else really. I mean, no more than like last day. I remember end of school, like probably year 11. Loads of people getting drunk and then going to school because it was the last day of school, and
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
the teacher's going to do. I remember getting caught. Well, I never got caught smoking on the field, but we used to go down the field and smoke in break times. And I remember the headmaster running across the field once to try and catch everyone. But by the time he ran across the field, everyone had already disappeared.
Yeah. It's like trying to catch a rabbit. Yeah.
Yeah,
Good luck
but
with that. Yeah.
I don't really remember anything particularly like stand out. Kind of like, oh, like there's never like that kind of story where I'm like, oh, that time at school. Do you remember when this happened and that
Yeah.
happened? And I don't really
Yeah.
remember those. I don't remember an instant like that at
Yeah.
all.
Did you have any like funny moments that were like I've got one that's a really good example actually, which is one of my friends mistook non-school uniform day for fancy dress. And he
Right.
actually came to school dressed as an army soldier. And then from then on he was Rambo. That was his name.
That's
And
amazing.
it is actually still in my head at least, it is Rambo now.
Yeah.
And someone says his real name, and I'm like, nah, that's not
Mhm.
his. Like, he's going to a wedding as Rambo in my vision, at least. You know.
Yeah.
Mm,
Yeah, I don't remember I wish I had a story like that.
that's all right.
Like that's those are the ones that kind of stick. Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
remember. I mean, probably because
yeah,
a lot of my friends have got nicknames and those nicknames have all come from school. So there must have been
yeah.
particular reasons. But I mean, we were just
Mm.
I don't know, a lot of those yeah, I don't remember an instant. I mean, that's amazing. Coming to like
Yeah, it was mental. Yeah, it's just yeah. I'm surprised he doesn't work in sales now because he really tried to convince everyone that that's what you were supposed to do. I'm not the problem here. But yeah, it's worth £2 because you have to pay
yeah,
£2, didn't you, if you want to do non-school uniform day?
yeah,
It's a very, very strange world. And now, you go to college or university, you can wear whatever you want for free. But
exactly.
there
Yeah.
we go. Right, music time. In today's world of short attention spans, people with sort of ADHD and lots of neurodivergence emerging, TikTok, etc., people only listening to 2 minute songs, people like Youngblood, where they, release a 2 minute and 20 song. What made you come to the decision to release because your album is like super like soundscapey,
Yeah.
and I feel like people need to listen to it in order.
Yeah.
So like how did that sort of cross your mind in today's constant attention currency market that we all live in now?
It didn't, to be honest. Particularly because the albums that it's very much a project for me. It's an album for me. Like the music, I always write music for me first, and if I enjoy it, kind of that's the thing. And if everyone else likes it, that's a bonus.
Mm,
Like I, it might sound awful to say, but like I do listen to my own stuff.
mm,
I've got songs I've recorded from years. There's nothing better than a bit of nostalgia and going back and going, oh, let's see a song title and go, what the hell is that? And I've listened and
yeah.
go, that's bloody good. Like I recorded that. I can't quite
Mm,
believe it. But like I enjoy listening to my own stuff and I write stuff that I like and it's based on the type of albums that I listen to. So I'm massively into late 60s and then all through the 70s music. That's kind of my stuff, and especially prog rock. And not most, but like the standout pieces for me are like Supper's Ready by Genesis, which is 22 minutes long. Close to the Edge, like, yes, they are long pieces. And there are shorter songs on the album,
mm,
but it was never intentional to make them short. It's just that's what felt like it worked for the album.
yeah.
And I think, I don't know, as I get the kind of the 20-second snippet thing
Hmm.
because we all get hooked into the reels where we're sat scrolling for hours and hours. But I also get the kind of like you said, with the ADHD thing. So I have ADHD, and for me, hyper focus is a great thing. And actually, when I find something that I love, I can fixate on it for hours and hours and hours. So again, for me, that kind of if something gets my interest, I'm there and I'm with it all the way. Like if you can catch the interest in 20 seconds, then you might get them for the 18 minutes of how long that track is. Um, and and if they don't get it, then they're obviously not my type of. That's not my audience.
Yeah.
Because I'm
Yeah.
sure that out there somewhere is my audience. Well,
Mm.
I'm starting to find it, and it is there. There
Yeah.
are people that don't necessarily need or want that kind of constant boom, 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 short song. So nothing wrong with a short song.
Yeah.
I love it. I love a 3-minute pop song. But I also love something that I can really immerse myself in. Like you said, this is an album that I kind of never really intentionally wrote it to be that way, but it just kind of fell that way. That it is very much a kind of sort of in the way that concept albums work.
Mm.
It's a sit down, put your headphones on, speakers on, get a drink, and sit there for an hour and listen to it. Like it isn't a stick it in your car and kind of have it as background music. It's kind of meant to be sat and enjoyed like the traditional way of as an album should be. There
Yeah.
aren't really singles. It is an album, a piece of
Yeah.
work, basically.
Yeah. The moment in time sort of thing.
Yeah,
Yeah. Is there any plans going forward a little bit, jumping ahead, but are there any plans to release some vinyl of it?
there is vinyl. There's vinyl available
Because
now.
that's like a level of discipline that I think a lot of people are sort of, if it's so weird, like you see Spotify and you see vinyl and they're like almost neck and neck.
Yeah,
But like CDs have died and tapes have died, but there's almost this like nostalgic calling for people to, because I think people like to collect all of the funny spirally colors and stuff, don't they? So
I'm a big vinyl collector myself. Anyway, I've got I don't even know. I think the last count was over 500. I think like records. Like I love records. There's something about that nostalgia thing and just the the sound and like it annoys me when people say it sounds better. It doesn't sound better. It sounds different. Like I love to hear stuff on CD and I like to listen to it on vinyl because you can hear the same album, but the vinyl brings this warmth to it the CD doesn't, but the CD brings out details that the vinyl doesn't. So
yeah.
having both is lovely, but there is something about physical media that I just love. So
Mm.
like my album's out on CD, vinyl, cassette again because it's like I and it was purely for me. I wanted to own copies of my own
Yeah.
album on those formats, and again, they're out there. So if anybody else does, that's great. But I wanted to listen to what I'd created on a record. I wanted to
Yeah.
put it on and sit back for an hour and go, oh, that's my album on a record. Like I grew up as a kid nicking my dad's out and putting them on when I wasn't supposed to. Like that's how I remember first
Mm.
listening to music.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just like a sort of callback to how it all began,
Yeah,
and you want people to experience that as well. Did
that's
you?
it's an experience. That's how I kind of and
Yeah.
again like the albums, the music I kind of write. I like to think of it that that's how it would be listened to as an experience, like rather than it just being a song. It
Mm.
is kind of like I said, sit back, take an hour out, and just and experience it. Like
Yeah.
really get into it rather than just it being background music.
As a musician who, works at a recording studio, which we can get into in a bit, did you find that Do You Dream of Luminous Things? You had to go on a bit of a gear quest to step back in time. Because nowadays amps don't really sound like they used to in the 60s, and
Yeah,
a lot of people are in Axe Effects world and simulation modeling and Line 6, or
yeah,
like, they make some mental simulation stuff, don't they?
they do.
But yeah.
Yes, a bit of both. It was, I mean, I'm very lucky to have done some stuff at Echo Town Studios in
Mm.
Dordge where I work
Yeah.
occasionally, but and that is full of vintage gear, so that helped massively. But it was a mix. It wasn't. I didn't purely stick with the vintage amps and the vintage console. A lot of it I just recorded at home through my little interface and then used amp sims. I wanted to kind of get the best of both worlds. So the amp sim stuff was very much for the kind of weird and wacky effects that then you can really control, which you can't do on the old equipment. It's like, oh, I want a sound that kind of goes.
Mm.
It's like I can do that on the computer, so why not use that? It's kind of using everything to get the
Yeah.
best for best out of it.
Yeah.
if there's potential for it. It's like, actually, if an old piece of gear could have done that, cool,
Mm.
but it's easy and it sounds good on this. So let's use that, and then let's use an old Vox AC30 from the 60s to do the rhythm guitars, because that sounds old and analog, and the way it used to. That's cool. And we use some old microphones, and
Mm.
but actually mixing up the two, it's kind of getting that vintage meets modern kind of sound, which is kind of what I always wanted. I didn't want, like, if you go too far the other way, it sounds like you're just ripping off those bands from the 60s and 70s.
Yeah.
And I kind of want to pay homage to them, but without it becoming completely derivative,
Yeah.
or someone just going, well, yeah, but it just sounds like that. There's nothing original there because it just sounds the same. I didn't want that.
I showed my son the other day the song Frankenstein by Edgar Winter Group, and
Love
he
that
was
song.
like, "What is this?" And I was like, "This is like guitar distortion to an extent. Like this is now what every single band, has like a button on their amp, don't they? And it goes
Yeah.
heavy and stuff." And I
Have you
remember,
did you
yeah,
show him the video of them performing it on the Old Grey Whistle test? I think it's Old Grey Whistle test.
no, I've got on my Spotify, there's a Live in Japan album that I'm gonna listen to with him. But
Oh,
I'm a bit guilty of listening to one of their songs and sort of moving on. But there's definitely a certain energy to that sort of recording, and Dave Grohl cites it as one of his main inspirations for picking up guitar and stuff.
you
And
should
yeah,
check out the there's a live video, yeah, of them playing. I'm sure it's Old Grey Whistle test. And Edgar Winter's got like a proper 52 key or however it is keyboard piano, like basically like the original guitar. He's got it
yeah,
on a guitar strap over his neck, and he's playing this shoot. It must weigh a ton. And he
yeah,
moves from that onto percussion, onto saxophone, and it's the maddest, coolest little snapshot of 70s.
yeah,
And the song, and I love Frankenstein. That song's amazing.
yeah.
But
It's
you should
incredible.
get that video. Is just, you're just like, what is going on? Like, it's
Yeah.
amazing.
Remember seeing Michelangelo Betio doing two guitars at once, and I was like, "This
Yeah.
is fucking
Yeah.
crazy." And like listening to Steve Vai, and then eventually listening to like Dragon Force, I was like, this isn't even like music. This is like a video game soundtrack."
Yeah.
But that can obviously go one of two ways sometimes. But yeah, awesome. So the title of the album that you've released, Do You Dream of Luminous Things? What made you sort of come up with that? Because to me, the whole album, sort of beginning to end, has this ethereal, sort of dreamlike state to it. Was that intentional?
Yeah, but to be honest, well, I've got to be honest, I didn't actually come up with the title. It was so all the lyrics and the sort of song titles and the name of the album, a friend of mine, James Ousley, who writes poetry and just an incredible writer, he's written like articles and all sorts and has some stuff published, just amazing. It was all him really. So I kind of sent him demos of the album. He said, this is kind of with no lyrics. It's like, this is some music that I'm kind of going for. This is the kind of theme. It's a kind of dystopian kind of world, whereas I don't know, like it's all about space and kind of it's all a bit dreamy and ethereal, and it's very soundscapey. And I was like, can you come up with some sort of poetry and some song titles? And I think originally Do You Dream of Luminous Things was a title for one of the songs.
Mm,
And then we were kind of chatting back and forth, and I was like, oh, it's too good a title to have as just a song. It's like that needs to kind of encapsulate, it does encapsulate all of it, just that question. Which I don't think is answered in the songs, but I just think that question, and then the kind of songs have got that soundscapey kind of vibe. It kind of works. But yeah, it was all, I never questioned why he came up with that sort of stuff. But yeah, it was all down to James. It's all his kind of his ideas, the lyrics and the song titles, and that it all kind of came from him. Well, we worked together on a lot of it, but it's all initially from him.
Was it music first, lyrics on top, or vice versa,
Always.
or mix? Yeah,
No, always music first, lyrics on top. That's
yeah.
kind of, I'm not a very good
Mm,
lyricist myself. Like, so there's a lot of stuff I've written. It's okay in like other, because I've got other side projects that go on and other bands, and they're not bad, but I knew for this I wanted something really good. Like I wanted the lyrics to be as good as the music, which they're not normally, which is why the music takes all my focus, which is why I kind of write the music, can get the structures, and kind of know a rough melody. Like it's like, where's the melody going? Oh, it's going here, here, here. I kind of know that, and spend so long on getting the music right that the lyrics are always an afterthought at the end. It's
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, I kind of need to sing on this now, so I better just write down some rubbish,
Yeah.
which I didn't want to do on this one. I knew
Yeah.
I wanted it to be better than that. I wanted the lyrics to be as equal as the music, which is why I thought I can't accomplish that, so I need to get someone else in
Yeah.
to work with me. And like, me and James have played in bands together for years as well, so we know each other very well. It's not, I don't think it's necessarily his type of music, but again, that kind of works well, because then he didn't necessarily write for the music either. Like the poetry he wrote was kind of very much poems that we then kind of cut up and chopped up to make fit with the music and kind of alter bits. But as much as I'm saying it should be as important, it was very much music first. It was like, right, let's get the feel. That's how I kind of write. Get the feel, get the vibe, get the kind of the structure. This is the sound I want. Right, that sounds. If it sounds good enough as an instrumental, if I can listen to it,
Yeah.
sit back and
Okay.
listen for like 5 minutes and go like, do you know what? That's kind of cool just as it is. Like, but other people won't necessarily think that's cool as it is.
Mm.
Then it's like, right, well, I'll put some lyrics on top.
Need to captivate people with music and then keep them listening with
Yeah,
lyrics. Yeah.
yeah. Like I think there's certain things as well. Like, I think you can tell, maybe not, but like with me, there's always, I write intros. Every song has got an intro. I'm not one of those people like vocals come in straight away, like a big la la la, and then the music comes in. It's like, no, do you know what? Set the scene.
Yeah.
Like, I write almost like a composer, I suppose. It's very much a intro and then into the verse, because the lyrics come, yeah, they come second. I want to set that scene before you're straight in with some lyrics. I think
Mm.
that's, I always wonder when I hear songs where the lyrics are in, the vocalist is in straight away, or even starts the song. I'm like, wonder how much, I feel like they had a lot of input in that writing, or
Yeah.
they're way more into the lyrics than they are the music, because that's the four, what they want at the four. But then this is probably why I'll never be in the top 40.
Yeah, I always
I'm quite
wonder.
happy with that, but yeah,
Yeah, I always wonder if like the Billboard Top 100 or whatever it is, how many iterations of that song there was before.
yeah,
You
yeah,
know, what's her name? Bloody the one that's everywhere at the moment, Sabrina Carpenter.
yeah,
I always want to know like how that song used to sound before it actually got sort of refined and molded into a 3 minute hit, and if there was any sort of lyrical revisions, you know,
yeah. I'd
for
love to know
the
what the rough
mm,
demo that somebody, the songwriter, whoever her co-writer probably has written at home. There's probably some rough demo that sounds a million miles away from what's been polished
yeah.
and released.
I feel like demos have died a bit. I know they still exist, but if you used to buy like a single of like an Eminem
Yeah,
Eight
yeah,
Mile or whatever, you'd get like a radio edit of Lose Yourself, and then you'd get like a demo, or you'd get like an alternative version of that song, and it like
yeah,
just there's a really good example actually with Nirvana. They did a new wave version of Polly,
yeah. I know, yeah,
which
I know.
isn't
Yeah,
acoustic, and I was like, okay, this is actually a bit more upbeat and a bit more high energy. But I'm really interested in that sort of stuff. Yeah,
yeah. I love that. It's one of my favorite artists in the last few years, especially at the moment. This guy called Stephen Wilson. He's kind of like modern prog stuff, but he's great at that, because he'll release an album and then release like a sort of deluxe box set version, but within that will pretty much be the whole album, but as the kind of demo
yeah,
tracks versions
mm,
of it. And it's like, it's so awesome to see where they started, or where he envisioned that, because those rough demos essentially are kind of, especially the ones he does, are kind of almost finished as a demo. It's kind of how I do my stuff. I will very much create a demo, like drums, bass, guitar, like the full works. It won't just be like necessarily me sat with an acoustic. I will kind of almost multi-track and have it as a ready song, and then it's like, cool, that sounds great, now let's go and do it properly.
mm,
And he does the same, and it's really interesting then to see, to be able to hear everything that he kind of thought might be in the final version that then
mm,
doesn't quite make it, or changes slightly, or the lyrics change, or
yeah.
it's completely different. And again, I still love. I love hearing. There's George Harrison doing something by the Beatles, something in the way she moves, something in the way she moves. There's his early demo version of that. Again, it's just him on an acoustic guitar, and it's stunning. Like, I almost kind of wish they'd just gone, do you know what, George, that'll do, we'll release that. Like, it's amazing. It's
Yeah.
so nice. So sometimes, again, hearing it really stripped back to
Mm.
just a guy with an acoustic figuring out what it
Yeah.
is amazing.
Yeah, it's good to be able to do that as well, especially if, you're playing a venue and the power goes. You
Yeah.
can obviously a microphone will be out as well. But going back to Stephen Wilson, I need to check some of his stuff out because Guvri Govan did some stuff with
Yeah.
him, didn't he? Or he sessioned for him.
He did. He was in the
And
band for like 2 albums, The Raven That Refused to Sing and Hand Cannot Erase,
hmm.
which are actually probably my two favorite Stephen Wilson. And he's just plays. I mean, he's an incredible guitarist anyway, one of my favorites. But some of his guitar work on those albums is just phenomenal, like just incredible.
My toxic trait is knowing that I could potentially get Marco Miniman on the podcast. Because that's the aristocrats, isn't it? Is Guvri
Yeah, well,
Govan,
and
Brian Bella, and yeah.
Marco was in Stephen Wilson's band as well. So
Oh,
I think
okay.
he played on those 2 albums as well.
Yeah.
And then him and Guthrie went off and did the Aristocrats afterwards. So
Yeah.
like they're both on both of those albums.
Did you watch the Dream Theater My Heart Goes On drum auditions?
No, I didn't. No.
Marco Miniman shows up in a Cookie Monster shirt
Amazing.
and he's so funny. Like he actually like attacked the songs in like a slightly different way to Mike Portnoy would.
Yeah.
Whereas it felt a little bit like they needed to sort of preserve the realness of, Mike's parts.
Yeah, yeah.
But I'll send you a link to that. It's
Yeah,
so interesting how he like interprets certain phrases and certain sort of drum fills and stuff. And I love that he just dressed for the job that he wanted, not the job
yeah.
that laundry day or something. But yeah, I think he's fantastic. I really like Marco's work in Paul Gilbert as well. I think Paul Gilbert's one of the best guitarist that's instrumental. I just think there's something
Yes, yeah.
about the Spaceship One stuff. Just absolutely adore all of that. That's so good. The fact that they all just
I
like
don't
dressed up as like NASA, like
I don't
yeah,
think I
it's very
know.
interesting.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to check that out because I don't.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't think I know that stuff. Yeah, I'm gonna have to look at that.
yeah. They some of the songs are from like Flying Dog and Scarified's their big one, isn't it? Paul
Right.
Gilbert,
Yeah, I know.
that crazy
I do know
fast
that one.
guitar riff.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, he sings quite a lot as well, Paul. And to be fair, it's not his first choice, but
No.
he gets it done. Going back to the sort of lyrics or music first, um, do you find that sometimes it's even like a premise first? It's like, you potentially wake up in the morning and go, oh, I want to write a song about traffic, or, I want to write a song about going out there and trying your best, and then sometimes the music comes and then the lyrics come afterwards, or is it very much driven by the music first?
It's driven by the music first, but I also it's a tough one because I don't really write.
Yeah.
So I don't I'm not one of those people. I probably could. I've never really I have tried, it doesn't work. I can't sit down and write. If I sit down and think, like some people are amazing at it, could just sit down and go, do you know what, I'm going to write a song now? And they'll sit down and write something. And in an hour, half an hour, 5 hours, however long it takes, they've written a great song. I can do that, but it's not going to be my best work. And it's not going
Yeah.
to be something that I like.
Mm.
I could churn out a song, but at the end of it, it's not going to be something that I like because I'm forcing myself to do it. So because of that, there is never really a kind of conscious thought of
Mm.
right, I'm going to write a song like this or I'm going to write a song like that. It kind of, I knew I wanted to make an album. So with like Do You Dream, I knew I wanted to do an album at some point. I wanted to do something a bit proggy, spacey, something that like I've kind of dabbled in before, but I was like, right, I think I'm ready to pull all of that together, like all of my experience over the years and the music that I love. I'm ready to try and actually write something in that style. And I kind of remember having that thought and then leaving it alone. And then kind of just the way I sit and twiddle on the guitar all day long. Like, probably shouldn't say this, but like if I'm working, normally I've got a guitar on my lap. So between doing other stuff, I'm twiddling. And all of a sudden, it's almost subconsciously, your ear just picks up on something and goes, oh, what did I just do? Oh, that's cool. Right. Let's do it again. Oh, let's do it again. Like, and then it kind of goes from there. And you know, what I quite often do is then I'll record that 30-second snippet on my phone and then won't even think about what comes next. Sometimes it does. Sometimes naturally you've got a verse chorus kind of structure straight away just because that's where that riff goes or that's where that chord sequence is. But a lot of the time I just record the 20 seconds, put it to bed, and then I'll do, I don't know, just keep playing and something else will happen. And then with this album, I remember kind of thinking, I know I've got a lot of riffs and things over the last month of just doing that because I'd had the idea that I want to create an album. They were just kind of coming, and it was kind of like, right, cool. Now let's just load them all onto the computer and start piecing bits together and see what works with what. Like, there's the problem is as well, it doesn't stick because you come up with a riff and then the next day you don't remember it, which is why I kind of then record stuff.
Yeah,
some of them do stick, and then you go, that's the one, that's the good one. If you can then the next day hum it again, or play it again, it's like, right, that's the one that obviously stuck from yesterday.
Yeah. On bass, I used to have to actually video myself because if I did a voice recorder, I'd be like, is that ninth fret or 12th fret? And I'd drive myself mad, Jamie. I'd be like, I know that this is in the bass. Like, it's the same bass. I know that the shape's here. But yeah, sometimes that can actually sort of take all your time trying to get back to where you were previously. And yeah, humming a melody seems to be one of the big things that I've sort of gotten out of quite a lot of musicians on here is if you can get that down, then you can kind of build. It's like a big puzzle, isn't it?
It is like, and that's how I like. Again, a lot of my writing is like that. It is kind of building a puzzle. Like I kind of have all the pieces. I remember reading or seeing something about Yes creating Close to the Edge album, and again it was that track especially, it's got like about 10 different sections, but it very much was 10 different sections that they just kind of figured out how to glue it all together and how to have sort of transitions between this section into that section, and maybe we'll come back to that section so it feels a bit more like a chorus, although it isn't. I was like, that's a great way of working because I have all these riffs and all these bits and pieces, and I don't want it all necessarily to sound the same. I mean, the first track on the album, the Radiant, the one that's 18 minutes long, goes through I don't know how many different twists and turns and genres and styles, and it's like, but it kind of works. And hopefully, again, going back to your first point about how do you keep people's attention, that's one way of doing it, by constantly twisting and turning and keeping the music moving, so it's not 5 minutes, 10 minutes of the same kind of thing. It's like, do you know what, all of a sudden we're going to go into some Latin beat over here and just completely throw you off guard.
Keep them guessing. That's it. Yeah. How did you start working for Echo Town Studios?
How did I start? So I met Nick and Grace. Well, I've known Nick for years and years and years and years, actually. Well, we've known of each other for a very long time, just on the sort of Dorset music scene. And I think, I can't remember how we actually formally met each other, but we'd kind of bumped into each other a few times. And then I think it was when they opened the studio, I went and had a sort of tour and a look around, and we properly sort of met, and then we got chatting. And from then it was just kind of, we just kept chatting and got so much in common musically and sort of influences. And then was doing some bits and pieces with them for live stuff, and then started playing with Nick in the band, so built up some sort of just a really good friendship there. Decided I wanted to do some of the album up there at Echo Town, and then again, just through chatting and sort of talking about my experience, I have a degree in soundtrack production and went to college to do BTEC in music technology, so have done sort of live sound studio stuff. That's kind of what I trained in, and then we sort of spent time talking, and then there just kind of came an opportunity to, do you want to, Gareth, the head engineer, couldn't do a session up there, and he was like,
Yeah.
do you want to come and do it? It's like, yeah, cool, like that would be awesome. Get to play around with a load of old vintage equipment. Why
Yeah. Yeah.
not?
Yeah.
So
Fantastic.
yeah, and it
Yeah.
just kind of went from there, really. And then it's just, well, we've got some more shifts. Do you want to do this? Do you want to, yeah? And it's just kind of grown from there.
Nick and Grace are so lovely. I just don't know how they stay so calm. Like, it's actually quite maddening to see them just sort of, yeah, we'll get round to that at some point. And I'm like, are you kidding? And then, they'll put stuff on Instagram of like, oh, we've got the Hoosiers in this weekend. And I'm
Yeah,
like, what? How?
it,
But fair play to them.
I
They're
think
one of the
it's
only studios that I've seen in Dorset left. So,
there is. I think it's just because Nick's a musician. He knows what other musicians are like.
yeah, I think that's
So
important, isn't
he
it? Yeah.
wanted to build that place with,
Mm,
partly with them in mind, a proper place for musicians. Having spent years playing and recording all over the place and never finding somewhere that really suited him. That's what and then obviously the accessibility stuff with Grace in a
yeah.
wheelchair. But like, it's a proper, like, labor place is just amazing, and it
It
is so
is, yeah.
calm and chilled because I think they've built that environment there, that it is that perfect place for a musician to go and record
Yeah.
in.
Yeah, it's kind of by itself as well, isn't it? It's not like you've
Yeah,
got constant cars going past and
no, it's a
yeah,
little haven, just a little tranquil
yeah.
place in the middle of the countryside, so it kind of oozes calmness, I think.
Mm. Yeah, maybe one day they can get a restaurant in there and the closest thing is McDonald's and if you
Yeah.
can't drive you're pretty screwed. But yeah, anyway, there you go. I'll let Grace know I've said that.
Yeah.
Or she can watch this. Supreme CBD. Okay, this isn't just a normal ad read. This is stuff that I genuinely believe in. And as you can see, I'm using quite a bit of it at the moment. Are you getting enough sleep? Is your sleep hygiene good? Is your overall anxiety at a good level? Is it manageable? These are the questions that you should be asking yourself. So for me, I think Supreme CBD is the best in class. I've used other companies previously, and their oils and their edibles are just absolutely fantastic compared to other brands. The Bears are super popular, and they're currently doing an offer which is unbelievable. If you use my code Bedlam40, you can get this offer for just under £65. And the size of the tub that they are selling with this bundle is 5 times the size of this. So with that, you'll get a 3,000 milligram oil, 3,200 milligram tub of Bears, and you'll get a free gift. So if you use the code Bedlam40, you'll get that for just over £65. Also, everything on their site is 40% off if you use my code, which is Bedlam40. And this stuff is just absolutely fantastic. I'm genuinely really surprised that I'm getting on as well as I am with this. And I'm not being paid to advertise this. So yeah, you can get them in different strengths, depending on your mood, depending on what you think you need to function. So thank you very much for supporting the show. And back to it. Absolute bedlam. In terms of being a musician in 2025 and sort of keeping the lights on and sort of making it part of your life as you clearly have for so long, what sort of keeps you motivated to keep doing it? Because sometimes it can feel a bit sort of thankless, and I hear the phrase starving artist quite a lot, and you see the horrible revenue split between Spotify and other places like that, and it kind of feels a bit bleak at the moment. But something that Billy Corgan from the Smashing Pumpkins said recently is that he feels like a lot of musicians are going to sort of create communities and be like peer to peer rather
Yeah.
than sort of obeying these giant monolithic organizations. So, what sort of for you keeps it fresh and exciting and wanting to sort of keep pursuing it?
Like I said earlier, I write for me. Like,
Mm,
at the end of the day, it very much is. That's not to say I don't appreciate, like, when other people do like it. or if you're playing a gig and you've got loads of people applauding and all that sort of stuff. But
Mm.
really, the reason I do it is because I love it. Like, and if there's other people there and they enjoy it too, that is a bonus. Like, I'm very fortunate that I don't rely on it as a main income.
Yeah.
Also, even musically, I don't rely on it as a main income. I play in covers bands at the weekends to kind of get paid to do it. So,
Hmm.
like, I haven't gone the full sort of original artist route
Mm.
where this is you throw your whole life into it and then you are trying to make ends meet on 0.0001p per play on Spotify.
Hmm.
Like, that is just unfortunate that, like, I don't know if it's fortunate, but it's just the path I've chosen is to not throw myself into being an original artist. That's kind of something I do for me. And
Yeah.
it very much is, since this album has taken off, it's taking off much better than it has done with anything previous in other projects and bands that I've done. This is the one that seems to have landed the best, and seems to kind of be going somewhere. But I think I just always want to be creative. For me, like, again, I just want to keep creating. So that's what keeps me kind of going and motivated. Like, the minute I finished this album, I had ideas for another album, which I've pretty much finished demoing already, and I'm going to look to start recording soon. And I know that I'll pretty much be finished with that one and be thinking, right, what's next? Because I just want to keep creating something. I want to put something out. I want to keep challenging myself and see what I can come up with, what I can write, what I can,
Yeah.
yeah, what's next.
Yeah. I feel like similarly, like I've now got a really, really good video editor, Jamie. That's his name as well, which isn't confusing. Um, he gets through edits for me so quickly now that I've got like 4 podcasts that I could actually upload right now to YouTube. But that sort of pacing and letting things breathe, I think that's absolutely essential because it's almost like if you upload another 3 albums at once, then people almost like overlook it.
Yeah,
Whereas if you release things at like a steady pace, I think the sort of model nowadays with bands like Sleep Token and In Me and various other bands that I listen to quite a lot is they release like 3 singles. Then they drop the album and then they do like music videos or they do visualizers now as well, which is
yeah,
a lot more cost effective than doing live stuff. But yeah, I think it's important to sort of let things, you know, sort of marinate a bit and
yeah,
do things when it's good to have stuff on the back burner. And I've definitely heard before that people have this sudden burst of inspiration after album one.
yeah,
Um, but sometimes it feels like you're sort of writing for a rainy day where, like, we're going to talk about writer's block in a bit, but you might not potentially have something for like a year. So you're
yeah.
kind of waiting for that year and then you can press the red button and drop something that's kind of been sat in your hard drive for a while.
I mean,
Yeah.
although I say I'm always on the lookout for something, yeah, something next. It is always the sort of the next. But again, like, exactly what you said. So, Do You Dream, I think from when I started writing it to actually when I released it was about 2 years. Um, and then the album that I'm working on at the moment, although I said I've finished the demos and we're hopefully start recording stuff soon, that I can't imagine that is going to be out for at least another year and a half. Like, I'm
Yeah.
in no rush. That's the
Mm.
thing, because
That's it.
it's the creative process that I enjoy.
Mm.
Like, it's not necessarily about chucking something out.
Mm.
Like, it's not even necessarily the writing. I don't mind writing. I enjoy the writing, but it's the arranging, producing, it's the recording. That's the bit I kind of, the music's cool, and then it's like, right, that's cool. I like the chords, I like the whatever. It's like, now how do I get it from cool to like sounding epic?
Mm.
Like, what can I do to the arrangement? What can I tighten up here? What can I lose? More than what can I add? It's kind of always, what can I lose and what
Yeah.
sounds can I use? And that kind of, that keeps me interested and keeps me
Mm.
motivated to like keep pushing and doing it and kind of and going. And do you know what, as well, it's going to take me 2 years, so what, like, that's fun for me for 2 years. Like I say, I do music for me, so I'm going to have a great 2 years making an album. and then it's going to come out, and then some people might like it, but I know that I'm going to, because I've put 2 years of my life into it.
Yeah, absolutely. In terms of other members for your solo stuff, have you got people in mind, or are you still trying to find the right musicians for the job?
I don't really know. It'll probably be a lot of the same guys that I used on the first album. Um, so especially uh, drums, bass, keys, Rick Veal on drums, Jack Ansell on bass, and Will Sear on keys. Those are my like go-to guys, because they play in my funk band, my covers band that we play at the weekend. So they are like, we've been playing together for, well, me, Jack, and Rick have been playing together for, I can't even remember what it is now, probably over 20 years,
Wow.
in various different kind of lineups. We've
Hmm.
been rhythm sections for that long. So like it is tight between the three of us. Like we're best mates, and the music's just, it's tight. So they kind of, we're all at that level when you've been playing with someone for that long, that you almost kind of know what they're going to do before
Yeah,
they do it.
yeah,
Or you kind of, well, we still surprise each other sometimes, I think, with the occasional thing, but a lot of the time it's just, so someone goes to do a fill or something, and you just it's instinct to go
yeah,
along with them, because you just knew it was coming, and then there it is. So drums and bass, although I'm looking at maybe mixing things up a little bit and using several, rather than, the last album was very much a drummer, a bass player, a guitarist, a keyboard player. Thinking of kind of mixing things up a bit and getting some other people in to do, so it's not just the same people on every track, just to give it all a slightly different
yeah,
feel. Because again, Do You Dream, I think, feels very, not samey, because the tracks are all very different and they kind of go all over the place, but the sound itself is very samey track to track, and the style is. Whereas I think the new stuff kind of almost deserves to have a different drummer in for a different track, just to give it a completely different feel or a different interpretation than like Rick would give it, because he will have his way of playing everything, and it'd be nice to see what somebody else might do with that. So it just breaks, again, just helps to break up all up a little bit and keep it interesting.
yeah, absolutely. In terms of live music, and live performances, do you think you'll be able to do the full band financially, or would it be a case of being a little bit more nimble and doing backing tracks?
It's something I've been debating. I've had a lot of people nagging me, saying, when are you going to do it live? And part of me, because I'm so proud of it and spent 2 years doing it, I want to do it justice. So I'm like, I really want to do it with everyone that performed on it. But the logistics of, and the cost of doing that, of a lot of the people that came in and did it were kind of
Mm,
not blagging it as such, but it was 2 years ago as well. So they'd come in and do something. Yeah, they've heard the album since, but they'd have to relearn it. We'd have to get together and rehearse. We've got to pay for rehearsal studios.
yeah,
They might not charge me for their time, because a lot of the people, well, everyone that's on that are mates, and I called in a lot of mates' favors
yeah,
and
yeah.
things to get them to be on the album. But they might charge me for their time if I'm saying, right, we need to rehearse every night this week.
Mm,
And then it's finding venues that are appropriate for
mm,
that kind of music and the vision that I have of it. Like, I want to, if I'm going to do it, I want to do it. It's not a pub gig. It's a venue gig, and it needs to be a
yeah,
venue gig that's kind of, I see it like running with visuals and lights. Like, I want to have film playing behind us that's synced. So yeah, there might be certain elements of backing tracks and probably click tracks, but mainly because I love visuals that run alongside band playing. There's a incredible band called Nordic Giants. It's
okay,
just piano player, drummer, just a duo. They got some backing tracks, I think, but they've got whole films, and they literally are like films. They are incredible, like especially made videos to go with each of their songs, and they have it projected on a big screen at the back, and then they've got this weird lectern type thing in the front that's got another screen, and it's just incredible to watch. You kind of get immersed in watching them play, and then you kind of catch yourself catching a glimpse of what the film is as well, and it's just stunning. And theirs is very much kind of post rock, atmospheric kind of proggy music, so it really suits. There's no vocals, it's just all instrumental, so it really suits. It's almost like watching a soundtrack, but some two guys in like Nordic clothes
Mm.
playing like bare shirt. They've got bare chested with like wall paint. Like, it's amazing. Like they're incredible bands. You need to check them out. But
Yeah, I will do.
but it's
Yeah,
that kind of thing, like the visuals, and I think it just brings it to life a little bit because they're not. Nobody's going to be getting up dancing to this album. It's not. It's not. It's very much. I kind of see it as a almost like a theatre type thing. Sit down, listen. So actually, you don't need to pay attention to us. We're just providing the music. Watch the screen and listen. Like have something that's kind of, because we're not going to be doing a lot. We're going to be just basically stood because it's not crazy performance type music. It's more about sitting and enjoying it, like they did in the 70s. Like you see so many videos of people just sat there looking because that's the way it was, but also they just look mesmerized because it's just they're kind of sat there taking in the music rather than having to be entertained by the musicians.
Yeah, completely. Have you can you drive, sorry?
Yes.
Have you been around Poole much near Bournemouth?
A little bit. There's a few
There's
venues
a
that we
light store, like an actual lighting sort of front showroom, and it's got all of the lighting. Like, I'm a real sucker for lighting. It's one of the reasons that I go to IKEA
yeah.
because you see it all out in the wild and it's all like turned on, and you can get a bit of a vision for what you want your sort of front room to look like or whatever.
yeah.
But maybe it would be easier for you to actually put a band into a lighting store than the other way around. Because otherwise you'll be playing in B&Q or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay, awesome. So yeah, you kind of you're toying with the idea of doing live, but you want it to be well represented rather than
Yeah, I think that's
opening like, a support act and
yeah,
you
and I think I could pull together a four piece. I said the guys that I play with every weekend, we could pull something together and do it with backing tracks. But I kind of think like, what's the point? Like, is
yeah,
anyone like if I'm gonna do it, let's do it properly.
yeah, fair enough. Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure the pavilion would entertain that. It's just with places like that, they need you to sell tickets.
Yeah, it's
And I fucking hate that question so much because it just makes everything so corporatized.
yeah,
And it's like that's one musician's nightmare is, it's like showing Superman Kryptonite. It's like, oh, I don't know how many people we can bring,
I know.
I'm not willing to get a bloody minibus just for this, and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, I'm sure it will come to fruition.
I'm
Might be
sure.
worth actually playing Echo Town as a
I
sort
did,
of.
I did think about doing something
Mm,
up there. I don't know if we'd all. I'm trying to think how many of us are on the
mm,
album. I think there's like 9, 10 people on the album. I think. It's only a little live room, so I think it'd be a bit tight in there. But that
yeah,
could be kind of cool just to do as an exclusive kind of thing for 30 people. However many
yeah,
seats in there could be kind of
yeah.
fun.
They seem super up for trying stuff like that as well. I went to
Yeah,
their drum clinic with was it Paul Weller and Susie and the Banshees, their drummers. I can't remember their names. I'm really
Oh,
sorry, guys.
Steve White, I think
Yeah,
Steve White, yeah, and Rob something, I think. Yeah, I can't think.
I've
Yeah,
got him on Instagram and everything, Rob. He follows me back and everything. We need to sort something out. But
he's got two first names.
yeah,
Is it Rob Bryan or is it
so
Brian Rob? I can't. It's something like that.
yeah, Rob Bryan. God, I've never got the right bloody Instagram account open. It's always my personal one or yeah, Rob Bryan drummer on Instagram.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a cool guy. Oh, I haven't followed him back. That's awkward. Sorry, mate. Yeah, there you go, sorted. Um, how do you know when a song's finished?
Don't. I never know when a song's finished. How do I know? No, because I tweak and tweak and tweak.
Hmm. You add so
Um,
much to the structure that it starts to
yeah,
fall in on itself. Yeah.
I even like I'm just trying to think about this album, for example. Like I'm very much one of those people as well that I record far too much of everything. I will record, I'll extend it out and it'll be 25 minutes long and I'll have probably 100 plus tracks on there because there'll be 50 different guitar tracks. And I know that most of it's getting thrown away, but I kind of again, that's kind of the fun process, is getting everything and going like, whoa, this is overwhelming. Right, now let's arrange it, cut it down, get rid of so much of this, what works, what doesn't work. But it's still, you tweak and you tweak and you tweak, and then it kind of gets to a point where I think we were mixing some of the tracks for this album, and even when we were mixing, like the arrangement should have been done, but I was still kind of going, oh, do you know what? Let's lose that bit, or can you just shorten, like sack that off, and we'll figure out a way to fade it into something else. Or like I was like, it's still not right. So, and I still listen back to it now and go, oh, I wish I'd done. I wish that.
Yeah.
I wish, do you know what, that chorus is 2 bars too long. This if that had done that, it would just been a bit snappier to get to the next bit. So I don't think you're ever. I think
Yeah.
you get done to a point where you go, it's good enough. Like
Yeah.
for yourself. And I kind of go, yeah, like, and I think you have to, otherwise you would just be stuck there forever. I read there's a book by he's a producer and engineer, recordist in America called Mixer Man, and he says you just have to commit to it. He's like, just like live by your convictions. You go, right, I'm going to make this edit, boom, done, right, okay, move on to the next thing, because otherwise you will
Yeah.
spend your whole life tweaking and tweaking and tweaking, and you'll
Yeah.
never get anything produced. And the only person that's ever going to really know any different is you.
Yeah.
Like the audience aren't going to notice that this guitar or that chorus was 2 bars too long. You do,
Mm.
because you think it sounds snappier. They don't really know, and
Yeah.
sonically they don't know. They don't care whether the bass drum is sounds, as long as it makes them feel something. They don't care about how it sounds or how,
Yeah.
really, like sonically it's very much about feel.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I try and do that as much as I can and commit and go, right, that's it, it's done, just move on. But you still always, there's a niggle.
Yeah. I know what you mean. Yeah. I think there's a whole podcast in that, just the
Yeah.
whole. Yeah, there's a guy I used to watch quite a lot. I'm not a huge fan of his playing necessarily, but I really like his attitude towards music and everything. It's a guy called Bumblefoot.
Oh yeah, see, I don't really know. I know the name, but I haven't really seen much.
Yeah, Ron Tarl. He was in Guns N' Roses, like the new version for
Yes,
a
yeah,
while, and then Buckethead took over. And he talks about in guitar clinics how that sort of deadline can double and triple, and you don't know when the song's a good time to stop faffing.
yeah,
And I think that sometimes can be a sort of blessing and a curse when you have your own recording studio,
yeah,
because it's like infinitely being able to go to the gym if you live in an apartment that's also got access to a gym and a swimming pool. But
yeah.
it's kind of like an all-you-can-eat buffet, isn't it? You never know when to stop.
I found space and time's the best one for me. So like, if I'm demoing something, I kind of get it to a point where I'm either sick of hearing it because I've worked on it for so long, or I kind of go, do you know what, I'm happy, and then I'll leave it for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, however long, until I kind of feel like I'm ready to come back to it. And I really try hard to just leave it alone. Don't listen to it at all. Then come back with those kind of fresh ears and go, right, I can't really remember what edits I did last time. I spent 10 hours editing this thing down and I don't even remember what I did. So let's listen to where it got to. And sometimes that fresh perspective of a bit of a break makes you go, that's cool, it's done. What
Yeah,
was I even, because if I hadn't taken that break, I would have
yeah,
spent those 3 weeks just tinkering with it. But
yeah,
having that space and going, do you know what, leave it alone, come back to it. And when you do, you go, it's perfect. That's great. It's done. Why was I bothering to keep messing around? Just awesome. Let's go. Yeah. So I think
some of
space and
yeah,
time sometimes is a big one for that.
some of the best IT engineers I've ever met in doing IT support for 17 years purposely don't take a lunchbox with them to work, so that when they're like debugging something or troubleshooting something, they physically have to get
Oh
off
yeah.
the computer. So they have to go to like Sainsbury's or Tesco
Yeah,
and get a
yeah.
meal deal, and they come back and they're like, "Fuck, that was a
That
semicolon.
was yeah.
Jesus Christ, I spent 3 hours trying to." Yeah, there's so much power in stepping away sometimes, and
Yeah.
also trusting other people to like write music. And I always think businesses are built on introverts and extroverts and trust, and you have to just allow people to make some decisions themselves and
Yeah.
make them feel a bit more empowered, you know? But yeah, so what's the sort of the next concept album? Like, did you say earlier that you were going to change tact on it thematically already? You've got some ideas?
Yeah, well, it's again, so James, who wrote the lyrics for the first one, has written a love story basically, which was interesting because he said it's not something he's ever tackled before, but decided he really wanted to write a love story. So he again has written all the lyrics. Again, it started very much as sort of poetry, and then we've kind of adapted it to kind of fit the songs. Similar thing, I kind of gave him the music and said, look, this is the kind of theme I'm going for. This is the kind of feel. And then he just came up with, yeah, this it's an incredible story. I don't want to give too much away, but
That's fair. Yeah.
it's amazing. Like I think I read through it the first time and was a bit like, I don't really get it. Like I kind of got it and I didn't. And then the second time I properly sort of sat and read through the poems for each sort of track. And like got to the end and I was nearly in tears because I was like, oh my God, like it is about lost love and longing and like and this relationship that kind of falls apart. And it's set very much in a kind of dystopian future. It still kind of follows that. If you don't, that's kind of my thing. I love dystopian anything. But it kind of features that. And he was reading a lot of he sent me a list of the books he was reading, but like I think he was reading like Metropolis or watched the film Metropolis, the old whatever it's 1930 something with the robot, and he was lots of like weird dystopian literature he was reading and sort of love stories and he kind of created this whole concept of this man creating something that then falls in love with and then
Yeah.
but yeah that's about as much as I'll say, but yeah it's
Mm.
stunning. Like and then so I've tried to kind of the fun bit now is going to be doing actually doing his words justice because the story is so powerful and so good and the words are incredible that actually for once I kind of feel like that's taking a more important role than the music is in this one. um
Yeah.
the music needs to be there more that to support the lyrics and to support the story, although there is going to be big sections where the music is very much a like the instrumental bits are here's the music and this is a cool riff and this, but in those moments where the lyrics are there they need to come through and tell that story.
Yeah.
So again it's a slightly different approach for me because that's not how I would normally do it. Like I said, the last album the lyrics had to be on a par. Previously the lyrics are kind of like doesn't really matter because they're just as long as the melody's there and people can hear that the lyrics doesn't really matter. But with
Mm.
this one it's like it's so important because I don't want people to listen to it and go
Yeah.
I didn't get it or I didn't really follow the story. I want them to really buy into it and yeah because it's beautiful what he's written, so it really needs to come
Hmm.
across.
I like the idea of like you taking on different challenges, even if you don't know that you're taking them on, because,
Yeah.
like you've said, lyrically, "Do You Dream" isn't the focus,
No,
but it sounds like this new album's going to sort of present itself in a way that's not necessarily your native
no.
songwriting attitude. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's again, it's because it's a love story. There's songs written from different perspectives as well. So there's I haven't quite. I think I know who's going to do it, but there is a female counterpart as well who will sing like it's probably about two and a half of because there's a sort of duet-y type track. Um, but then there's two that are very much from the female perspective. So I want to get in somebody to sing those tracks. So there'll be two tracks on my album that won't even have me singing on them at all. I'll be playing on them, but it's kind of strange, I guess, for someone who's kind of out there as a singer songwriter person to kind of be like, well, I'm going to get somebody else to sing these two tracks on my album. I have nothing, no vocal part at all on these
Yeah,
tracks and let them take the kind of stage on it.
yeah,
But again, that will help the story. That's kind of that's more important to me than my ego and me
yeah,
being on every single track. Like
yeah.
I do what the music needs or what the track needs, kind of rather than what I want to do. If it's like actually if the track needs this and
Mm.
that's what's going to make it work, then that's what it has.
Mm. Yeah, it's important to serve the music sometimes, and
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. Right, so we've got some random ones. Do you consider yourself to be superstitious at all?
No.
Nothing, not
Uh,
saying hello to a magpie, free drains under ladders, all that sort of stuff.
no, no, I don't think there's anything. There probably are some that I'm not even aware about. There's
Yeah.
probably habits that I've picked up from parents who have picked that up from their parents, and it's gone on for centuries that they've picked. You just do it. But there's nothing that I believe in science too much and
Yeah.
fact to believe in superstition. Like, although I like to, I'm quite a dreamer. Like, I have my head in the clouds quite a lot of the time and would love to believe all that sort of stuff. Like, a world where magic and superstition is real would be just incredible. But I very much am a realist in that it's not really.
Mm.
So, or I don't believe it to be. So it's like, oh, do you know what? Yeah, it's I don't really think I follow them, but I probably do. Like I say, there probably is some that I don't even realize.
Yeah.
Like
Mm.
opening an umbrella indoors, I probably
Yeah.
don't do that. But then that's probably more common sense because I don't want to open an umbrella indoors rather than me doing it because of superstition. But don't put my shoes on the table. But then again, I wouldn't want to put
Yeah.
my shoe. I wouldn't want to put my shoes on the table anyway because
Yeah.
they're dirty. Like that's more common sense than it is. I'm doing it because of superstitious things.
I got a bit of a thing with the shoe thing because it's usually a new pair of shoes that are in a box.
Yeah,
And if you've got a kitchen table in your house, stuff will just start massing in that space because it's kind of like no man's land, isn't it? And I think a lot of the time you put the box of shoes on the table because you want to show your family members or your partner the shoes.
the shoes. Yeah,
And you don't realize how like common that is until like you hear of these superstitions and you're like, oh my God, I do that. Like, I don't think breaking a mirror is a good thing in any circumstance.
no,
It's glass, but it's funny how people seem to sort of walk under ladders or do something like a black cat crosses your path and then something bad happens to them, but they they blame the thing that happened. They don't blame themselves.
yeah.
They don't it's almost like a way of shirking the
It is.
responsibility.
It's a scapegoat, or it's a way
Yeah.
of yeah. It's either a way that I suppose back then you could try and drill some common sense into people. So if you break a mirror, you get 3 years bad, however many years bad luck. It's like
Mm,
that's just trying to tell people not to break mirrors.
mm,
Like yeah, don't put shoes on the table. That's probably because you don't want your shoes on the table, whether they're new or old, or you just
yeah.
that's not very hygienic. I think or and again, then it's
Mm,
very easy for somebody to then go, "Well, I've had all this bad luck because I walked under a ladder." But, yeah, I don't think you did. I think that's just an easy way for you to make yourself feel slightly better. And if it makes you feel slightly better about yourself, great. Like, crack on. But
yeah.
it's not. I'm guessing you're not superstitious yourself, then.
I think there's a bit of it. I definitely salute magpies and say hello, how's your husband or whatever. Um, but that's because typically you seem to see two.
Yeah, yeah.
But no, you see one or two, one for sorrow, two for joy.
I
So
three.
if you,
Yeah, I
yeah, there's
remember
this
the.
whole thing, isn't
I
there?
remember
Yeah.
the. I never saw the TV show myself because I was too young. But for some reason, I know that the theme tune to Magpie, the TV show, which counts all of them, is always stuck in my head. I must have seen it somewhere, and it's just stuck with me. Ridiculous. Yeah.
Like a fantastic version of tinnitus or whatever the
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
sort of hearing thing is, yeah. Do you have any questions for me at all? Anything you want?
I was well. We were kind of when we were chatting. I would love to know what your top five albums of now, or
Fucking
or
hell.
forever. I know. Well,
Yeah, okay.
what are your top five albums? Because we were sort of talked about this and said that it changes. It's a tough one because it
Yeah.
changes daily, hourly.
Yeah,
And I
yeah.
was kind of after we kind of spoke about that, I was like, I actually reckon I've got probably a top five that hasn't changed in
Yeah.
probably like 20 years or something. But I'd be interested to
Yeah.
see what yours are
Okay.
at the now.
I'll do mine, you do yours, and then we'll do the last question. So I really, really like Devin Townsend. I'm a real big fan of him. I'm not a huge fan of Strapping Young Lad, but I love his Devin Townsend project stuff. So I'd probably say Addicted from that era. Red Hot Chili Peppers, by the way.
Yeah.
Metal albums. I would probably say Your Demise, Ignorance Never Dies, I think the album's called. That's free.
Tough one.
Cloud Kicker, who I've mentioned to you before.
You sent me some, yeah, really cool stuff.
Probably The Discovery or Beacons, one or the other. Recently, ooh, Sleep Token, This Place Will Become Your Tomb. And that's quite controversial because In Me are actually my favorite band, but
Right, okay.
I haven't actually listened to their music in a while. So it seems like Sleep Token have kind of taken that throne. So it's a bit awkward because I actually know quite a lot of In Me personally.
Right.
But maybe that's what's made us drift apart. I don't know. But yeah,
It's a
what's
weird one
yours?
when that happens, when like
Yeah,
for a while I had a top five, and then I was kind of thinking about it like I can't remember this a while ago, and I was like, yeah, actually my favorite band isn't even in my top five.
yeah,
But then it just goes to show how quickly it can change, I think,
absolutely.
depending
Yeah,
on, you could ask me the same thing tomorrow, in 5 minutes time, and I'd probably add a different band or change a different
yeah,
band.
exactly that. Yeah.
But I was thinking, and I think like if we're gonna go my all-time favorite top five, I think uh The Lamb Lies Down on Broadway by Genesis is like probably my number one album of all time. I then have to go. See, this is a tough one. It's Queens of the Stone Age,
Mm,
but I don't know whether it's Songs for the Deaf or Like
mm,
a Clockwork. Those two albums to me is probably Songs for the Deaf. That
mm.
album was just like, I was about 15 at the time, or maybe a bit, I can't remember, around that sort of age, and that album just like was blew me away, like
Yeah,
changed my world, that album.
definitely kicks the door down that one. And it's like a
Yeah,
radio show and it's
and
like a
everything, like
unique
it's, yeah,
concept. Yeah.
a mini concept album that doesn't really, the songs aren't part of it, but just that it's just something else, that album.
Yeah, absolutely.
um Another one, a guy called Wob. He's from uh where is he from originally? Brighton, I think. He lives in, oh, I don't know where he is, but he plays around this area quite a lot. He's had loads of albums, but he's got an album called Straight On Till Morning, and I remember hearing that when I would have been quite young. My dad was sort of putting on some gigs with him, and that album just has always been up there for me. And again, no one would really know him. He's quite an unknown kind of person. He was in a
Yeah.
band called Blythe Power, and they were quite big. It's kind of folky kind of stuff, but that
Hmm.
album is just phenomenal. Um, I reckon number four, there's an album by a 60s band called Locomotive, and it's called You Are Everything We See. Really obscure, sort of, it might be early 70s, but that album, again, just has, it's one of those albums I just go back to time and time and time again. I think all of these albums are ones that I just, if I'm stuck for something to listen to, they're the ones I go back to.
Yeah.
And then Stephen Wilson, The Raven That Refused to Sing, and Other Stories. That is just, it's just an incredible piece of work.
Hmm.
Like, and those are the five. If I'm like, I want some music, but I don't know what, that it'll be one of those five that I just go to without even having to think about it, and won't be
Yeah.
bored, won't be, just, I can put them on and listen to them start to finish and never get tired of hearing them.
Hmm. Yeah. Five's a tricky number, but I also sometimes ask people top three, and they
Mm.
come straight out with two, and then the third's like a wild card because
Yeah.
I've always been obsessed with the Motorhead album Killers. I think that's one of the best sounding records I've ever heard, but it never seems to come up in my immediate top five.
Yeah, yeah.
It's interesting how these things kind of, because there's lots of really good live albums as well. Like Cult of Luna did something at the Scala a couple of
Nice.
years back, and that was like a big like string of songs all sort of tied together. I seem to be a bit of a sucker for that when there's like a bit of a blue thread between the
Yeah,
whole
yeah.
set list and things blend into each other, which is one of the reasons that I love Russian circles so much. But
I
yeah,
just, I love music. I love albums. I'm not really a singles person.
yeah,
Like, I like songs, but I love albums. Like, I could probably give you a top 10 list of every genre, live albums. Like, I've, because I just love albums. Like, to me, that is the best way to listen to
yeah,
music. So again,
absorb it.
we could do top tens on everything.
Yeah,
We'd be
yeah,
here forever.
yeah. That's it. Right, last question, and then I'm gonna leave you to it. What is one thing about yourself that you really genuinely like?
God.
I know, right?
That's a question, isn't it?
Asking loads of UK people this and watching them spiral out of control.
Oh yeah. One thing about me that I really like. Um. Oh, bloody hell. We've only got 3 minutes. I've got to come up with an answer in 3 minutes.
You seem from the outside, you seem quite sort of disciplined and focused on maybe chaos, but you seem to separate certain parts of your life into certain chapters. So maybe that's positive.
I try to, but I don't necessarily think I do that particularly well. So there's probably times that I feel like I'm doing it well and like that, and there's other times that I don't. Do you know? Actually, do you know the one thing I like about myself is, do you know what? It's being open to, I suppose a bit weird, but like being open to collaboration. Like
Yeah.
I absolutely adore working with other people. I love being open-minded to, especially with music.
Mm.
Um, all of my songs are, when I write music, it's basically a rough demo every time. It's kind of like, do you know, and I hand it out to the world or whatever musicians I'm working with and go, it's yours, do what you want with it. Like there might be times that we're recording and I might have had an idea in my head. So when it gets to that part, I'm like, oh, in my head, it kind of went like this on drums or like this on bass.
Mm.
But quite often, the person doing it will try and do that, but they'll play it their own way that actually it's different than what I thought. And I'm like, well, no, what you did is way better. Don't try and do what I did because that's better. Like, I think some people get so fixed on the I've written it, it goes like this, the kind of the police way, the way that Sting used to
Yeah.
write songs and tell Andy Summers and Stuart Copeland, this is how it goes. It's like, no, do you know what? I've got an idea. Let's let the idea grow. And I quite like about myself that I don't get too precious. I'm not a gatekeeper
Yeah.
of my material. It's like, do you know what?
Yeah.
No, do what you want with it because
Serve the music.
all you're going to do is make it better, surely. And actually,
Yeah.
if you're not, then we'll go with it. We'll see what happens. Like I've chose you for a reason. You're playing it for a reason.
Yeah.
Let's make it what it is.
Yeah, absolutely. Love that. What way to end? Tying it back
There
to
we go.
music. But yeah, awesome. Well, I'll put loads of stuff down below if people want to check the album out. Are
Thank
you
you.
on Bandcamp and things like that?
Bandcamp, Spotify, all the
Yeah.
Apple Music, all the horrible people that don't pay you any
Yeah, yeah,
money.
yeah.
And there's some that do, like Tidal and things like that, that do actually pay
Awesome.
artists as well. I'm on those as well.
Fantastic. Awesome. Yeah, check it out. It's really genuinely fun. And yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what's next. So thank you, Jamie. I'll
No,
leave you
thanks for
to
having me
it
on.
and speak to you soon.
Yeah, great. Thanks, mate.
Bye.